The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it. 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 On the field.
Hello, hello, hello. You won't believe this. I just spent 5 minutes talking about Danella and talking and had her starting to share her story, and I wasn't even on. So we're going to start from scratch. And I just want to thank you all for being here. And I just want to share a little bit about who Donella Brooks-Gachett is. So she is an awesome woman of God. She has multiple sclerosis, but she has not allowed that to stop her from doing the work that God has set for her to do. I'm going to bring her on and I'm going to just share with our audience a little bit about Danella. Danella is a thriving influencer in her community and is the CEO of Donella Brooks-Gachett LLC and founder of This Is What MS Looks Like.org. Danella also has the Donella Brooks-Gachett Multiple Sclerosis Foundation. And these organizations are dedicated to advocating and educating communities about MS. And upon discovering that in 2015, medical articles written by 6 well-noted MS researchers recorded that only 0.02% of African Americans are at the focus of a disease that affects nearly half of the MS population. This deeply saddened her, and that is why she founded this advocacy foundation that took an even stronger shift toward educating the at-risk population within the African American community. Donella has been an advocate of hope in the MS community. Annually, hundreds are rallied around her as she guides a MS walk that raises money for the National MS Society. And something is happening with her video here. So I just want to let me just continue. She is also a believer in Christ Jesus. She attended the University of Akron and is a licensed Ohio minister, an IPAC certified wellness coach, and will be publishing her first book later this year. She currently resides in Ohio with her husband of 22 years, Akron police detective and Army veteran. Thank you for serving, Jerry. And together they have 3 children, Aries, Jordan, and Jaden, and 2 grandchildren. I can't believe you have grandchildren. You do not look like you're old enough to have grandchildren, let me tell you. Well, listen, I am honored and blessed that you are here with me today. And I just want you to take a few minutes and share with our audience your journey and how you've gotten to where you are today. And I know you are doing such great work. You are doing God's work. And we thank God for you. So please share with us.
Hello, everyone. I've had a couple hiccups trying to get on. I think I'm still having a few, but okay. So, hello, my name is Donella Brooks-Gachett, and I think she kind of explained who I am. But I do have multiple sclerosis, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2004 when I was only 28 years old, and I was terrified. I didn't know what that meant. It was I said, one of the worst years of my life until 2017 came along, and then that tried to, I don't know, combat that theory. But Often over the years, I've had people ask me, what is multiple sclerosis? So I'm going to read it for you, just not to, sometimes when you have something and I explain it and it just sounds so horrible to people, not that it's not a horrible disease because it is, but it's defined as MS is a disease that affects the central nervous system. The immune system attacks the myelin sheath that protects the layer of the nerve fibers. And what is the myelin sheath? So a myelin sheath would be almost like if you're an electrical cord. So the plastic that protects those wires would be the myelin sheath of our bodies. So MS ruins that connection to the protection, I should say, to the nerves. So anything that wanted to attack me or someone that has MS has carte blanche access to attack those nerves. It makes it difficult for the brain to send signals to the rest of the body, almost like an electrical cord shortage. In 2004, I lost my vision and I couldn't understand what was happening. I didn't know what was happening. And at that time, our oldest son was 2 years old. We were at a parade and I couldn't see any of the lights. There were sirens coming on the fire truck and I couldn't see those. I was scared and I went to the eye doctor, and that ends up being a really lengthy story about that progression. Early on, as early as 17 years old, I was often fainting, often in pain, and I just thought doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And my family was like, she's such a hypochondriac. I just thought that being sick was, or feeling bad was just normal. And I didn't realize that there was something wrong with me. So when I was diagnosed in 2004, I was devastated because I'd already had a family member pass away in his early 40s from multiple sclerosis. And then my mom's brother, my uncle, he is completely paraplegic from multiple sclerosis. So it was really scary and devastating for me. I'm sorry, I thought you was going to ask me something.
Yes, I am. I am. So is this disease a hereditary kind of thing, or because you said you had several family members that have had this disease? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Donella? Okay, we seem to be having some technical difficulties. Um, so can you hear me okay? You're free. Have you frozen here? Donella, can you hear me?
So that's the
Can you,
scariest part is they don't know.
okay. They don't know if it's hereditary or
They don't
not.
know how you get it. They don't know how you get rid of it. Yeah.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, but you're breaking up a little bit,
Yes.
but okay. Yes, I can hear you. So, can you tell us? I know you did some research and you were finding out some things that were not in the
I
favor of African Americans who
can
may
hear
be suffering.
you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. So, can you kind of share? I need to.
Oh,
Okay.
really? I can.
Yes. All right, let's see. We've got an audience member that says, was diagnosed with MS in 2016, and now my daughter, who is 20 years old, has it now. My mom died with it. It is hereditary. Oh my God. I am so sorry, Shannon, that Shanna, that you are having this problem. And hopefully this show is going to give you some more insight on some things that might be helpful to you. And Norma says hi. Hello, Norma. And Donella, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So
Now,
apparently, this must be hereditary
with
because we're looking
research
at.
in different types of medicine, they say it's not terminal. And to that, I say, I mean, there are people who think to the battle with MS, in regard to. Vera, are you still there?
I'm here. Yes, I'm here, but I was giving you the
I don't know
floor
if
so
you
that
can
you
hear
could.
me.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh my goodness. Okay, we're having technical difficulties. And so let me just say to you, as she comes back, MS is a major issue. And as I had said earlier, let me look at this percentage again. She said that while only 0.2% of African Americans are at the focus of this disease, it affects nearly half of the MS population. And this deeply saddened her, and she couldn't understand, well, why aren't we getting the kind of attention that we need to address this issue? And so Donella she's established a foundation to address the issues of MS. And she does MS walk on an annual base where hundreds are rallied around her as she guides an MS walk that raises money for the National MS Society. We've lost her, so she's going to be coming back. But in the meantime, I just want to share that if you are going through this condition and other autoimmune conditions, just know that we need to do everything in our power to make people aware of what it is, but also make them aware of why. Why are we not a part of the research and the statistical data that is out here for all of these immune conditions? And so this is a serious topic. And I do have Shauna, she said that, she was diagnosed in 2016. Now her daughter, who is only 20 years old, has it now, and her mom died with it. And so apparently, MS is a condition that can be and must be hereditary. And so if Shauna, if you have anything else you'd like to share as I'm waiting for Donella, then please, by all means, put it in the chat. And I do appreciate those of you that are listening. And I just want to, say we're at a critical point in our lives where illnesses are just running rampant. And this COVID is coming back stronger because people aren't doing the things that they need to do. So I do want to encourage you to wear your mask, and please, if you haven't gotten the vaccination, please do. I did, and I'm grateful that I did that. And so I also want to just let you know that I appreciate those of you that are listening, and if you have some comments that you want to put in the chat, I would appreciate it as we're waiting for Donella to get back. And I also want to, Shauna said, it's hard, but I try different things to help with day to day. So what kinds of things are you trying, Shauna, that helps you manage this condition? She says she's slow typing. Okay, I understand, but I appreciate your feedback because, again, we have so many illnesses that are out there that are attacking and affecting African Americans, and we need to understand some things that we can do. Also, diet, again, and as you know, I've talked about this before. A lot of times, things that we eat can impact on our condition. She says, Shanice, okay, my guest is back, and she says, and maybe Donella can even talk about this. Now, I had asked one of my listening audience that has MS to kind of share some things that she's doing to combat this. And she says she's on
Tefidera.
Tefidera. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, I would like to ask her how Tefidera is working for her and how long she's been on it.
Okay. So hopefully she says pills every day, and she changed her diet.
Yeah, so I took Tecfidera, and unfortunately, the thing about MS is, I heard you saying that it is hereditary before you were discussing that. And the problem with MS is they don't even know, right? As much as I would like to believe, we would like to believe that it has to be hereditary, right? We have so many people in our families who have it. They won't pull the trigger and say that it is. So we're just kind of like, yeah. Anyway, Tecfidera, I tried everything on the market. Tecfidera being one of them. As soon as I took Tecfidera, I had an immediate allergic reaction. My throat closed up. I couldn't breathe. They rushed me to emergency. It was terrible. So with Tecfidera, that treatment didn't work for me, but I have heard people say that it works really well for them. I've also taken Abagio and Rebif and let's see, gosh, I've taken so many treatments, all of them, almost everything they had on the market, I took until I started chemotherapy in 2017 with Lemtrada.
Okay. And so she also said exercise and vitamin S. Are you familiar with
I'm not,
vitamin S?
I'm not, I'm thinking maybe, I'm not familiar with that one.
Okay. She says she's been on it for about a year and she's had no more lesions.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm sorry.
okay. I'm just sharing what she said. No more lesions. So can you tell us a little bit about the efforts that you're putting forth? She also said, I started with infusios or infusion.
Infusions, I bet probably, yeah, so infusions, typically there's so many ones that you could take. The Lemtrada that I took was an infusion. Um, there's so many immunosuppressant infusions to take that most people who have MS end up taking. Some of them helped me, some of them didn't. But it's such a broad spectrum from when it comes to what can help and what can't help. It's more than 200,000 cases of MS happen a year. Back in when I was young and I was passing out everything else from syncope, which is a symptom that causes you to faint, they said that, they diagnosed me with juvenile arthritis and all types of things. So what I'm doing right now, um, back before I was diagnosed, they overlooked MS for me because it was believed to be common in white men, and now it's most common in females, and almost 50% of them are African American females that are being diagnosed with this. So many people that I know, I'll say at least 20 of the people that I work with were just misdiagnosed with something else, given sent to pain management doctors and things like that, versus finding a cure to what was really wrong with them, a diagnosis.
I want you to talk a little bit about the research and the things that you found out, just as what you're starting to talk about now, and just share with the audience some information and education that's going to help them better understand this disease.
Sure. Um, when they say you are what you eat, it's absolutely true. Diet and exercise really helps with multiple sclerosis. About 6 years ago, I became vegan because autoimmune diseases, including MS, they breed in dairy. So with milk and eggs and things like that, science has found that you will get worse when you're eating dairy. And I know they say milk does a body good. I'm going to leave that alone for what I feel about dairy and the truth behind it. It's pretty vast. So what I do is I do a lot of, I guess, talking in urban communities about things like opioids and the opioid pandemic that we're having, especially in my city. I live in Akron, Ohio, and we're having a true opioid pandemic here because a lot of people who are in pain, um, they said it was right. I was told it was a white man's disease, more black. Right, exactly. So no, imagine how overlooked I was being a young Black female. I was in high school, passing out, 11th grade, cold passing out. Actually, as a matter of fact, the other day I was on the phone with I have two neurologists, and I would recommend that for several reasons for people who have multiple sclerosis, and especially to the woman who said she lost family members to MS. I am so sorry. That's terrible. I also have lost a family member to multiple sclerosis. I have two neurologists just because I would like to fact check some things that they say to me. Yesterday, one of them told me the syncope, which I've had my whole existence of MS, is not a symptom, and I know that's not true.
Can you explain what syncope is?
Syncope is fainting. So in 2018 and 2019, in October, on the same day, October 1st, 2018 and 19, I got in an accident. The first one I was rear-ended. The second one, I just was stressed. Stress and MS do not mix. So it's a killer, we know. But if you have multiple sclerosis, they tell you to manage your stress. That's difficult because along with multiple sclerosis comes PTSD and all the other trauma that nobody wants to talk about. The stigma of having mental illness, right? Mental disease and things like that. Well, I have 52 lesions on my brain and more than 5, less than 10 on my spine. When it comes to things like behavior and scientific patterns, it's obviously going to affect my thinking. I have cognitive memory loss. I can be driving places and then I don't even know where I'm going, or I forget, I don't show up places, or people are often offended when I forget important things that are important to me, but I just can't remember. And when you think about a physical disability, we don't think about the mental aspects of that too.
Absolutely. And when you talked about stress, stress a lot of people say stress will kill you. But in actuality, how we handle stress is what kills us, because there's good stress and there's bad stress. And bad stress is known as distress. And when there's distress in our bodies, then that's when all the other underlying things begin to occur. So, can you share some de-stressors that you're doing? I want to talk about that. I also want to talk about your diet, and I want to talk about some of those other immuno diseases that you had made reference to when we had our conversation.
Yeah, everything from NMO to Crohn's disease and things like that are sister diseases to MS. So there's something called the polyvagal theory. And when we talk about good stress and bad stress, right? The thing about stress in our brains, they can't differentiate between the two. So when you have MS, it just knows it's stress. It doesn't know if it's good or bad. So there's something in our brains that connects our spinal cord to our brain. And it's called the vagus nerve. And that nerve takes everything from trauma to happy to sad to joy. So when we're feeling like we can't get over things, or we can't seem to get over things as easily as people who don't have MS, it's something that doctors should be talking about. And they're not teaching us or any MS patients or people that have autoimmune diseases why we can't get over things like grief and heartache and just any kind of stress, because our whole lives we've heard that there's good stress and there's bad stress. Well, stress can't MS cannot differentiate what's good and what's bad. It just knows you're stressed. So when you're happy, the day I fainted and had an accident, I was really happy. I was leaving a meeting. The day I passed out and discovered I was in a meeting where I was in 2004 when I was diagnosed with MS. I passed out because I was in a happy environment. I was getting an award.
Wow.
They were like, yay, Daniella. I was working in corporate America and they were celebrating me. Cold turkey, I passed out. I woke up with all these people around me. I didn't know I had MS at the time. And I'd been misdiagnosed for years and years and years. Nobody else could tell me. I just thought there was something wrong with me.
Oh my. So with there being no differentiation between good stress and bad stress, that really makes the situation quite challenging. And how can you possibly deal with, it's almost like you have to be on an even keel at all times.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's nothing but faith. For me, I do understand. A month ago, I was just in the hospital. I was driving. I lost all the feeling on my right side. They thought I had a stroke. They kept me in the hospital for 7 days, and they didn't know what was wrong with me. They found nothing. All they could find was all of the things that I already had. But what was stressing me was I am creating this multiple sclerosis foundation. I am doing a golf outing. I am bunch of happy things, right? I'm talking to people about how to de-stress, how to eat right, becoming dairy free, eliminating meat from your diet. And apparently, all of those things triggered my body that it just became too much for me. So, do I say roll over and do nothing? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I just have to pace myself so that, like today, I'm getting ready to come on the show. I'm just going to be honest. Guys. I'm getting ready to come on the show. Everything fell apart, okay? I dropped the phone. My internet connection wasn't working. My husband's coming in like, oh my gosh, what's wrong? It fell off the ring light. I was trying to find it lighting so I looked pretty. Nothing worked. So it's like you just have to show up. The things that God is saying, you know what I mean? Like, just show up and be authentically who you are. When I show up as my authentic self and my authentic person, I'm fine. But when I try to chase perfection, and I try to find this balance of the right things to say and the perfect thing to do, I fail every time.
And so you need to stop doing that.
It sounds like my mom, but I say to my mother, I have MS, and people say I have MS, but MS doesn't have me. It's impossible to stop unless I decide that I'm not going to chase the purpose that God has for me. I have to let people know these things. People don't know that MS breeds in dairy. I mean, how do you know that? She said, I'm a huge carnivore. I need my meat. Well, I loved burgers, everything. I loved it, but it was killing me. So after I was getting a lesion on my brain, probably like every 3 months.
Wow.
That's how I ended up having so many. And I would get sad and I would what? Eat. You're not feeling good? Let me take you for a steak dinner. Oh, let me give you grilled chicken, everything. Let me give you ice cream. All the things that were killing me to make me feel better, that were stressing me out. So I wrote a book and it flows a lot easily, a lot more metaphorically, a lot more graceful than I'm being today. Because today I'm a little stressed. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy that you're finding value in my work. I'm so excited. But again, MS cannot decipher between good or bad stress. It doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know that I'm stressed because I'm happy. It doesn't know if I'm stressed because I'm sad. It just knows it's stressed. So I was going to just read a quick little paragraph from my book that just explains the science of human behavior. So the science of human behavior proves that mind over matter without a higher power is not effective. Some argue that it doesn't even work at all, and it prompts us to just try to do it ourselves. In my book, I reference trauma and heartache that you carry around daily, and it finds you at night. You put it to bed, you wake up with it in the morning. That pain in your soul that's actually in your body, it hurts. It's achy, so it's invisible. A lot of interferon infusions, like the person was talking about earlier, our bodies, if you have MS, our bodies do not make interferons. What are interferons? Interferons are the thing that fights. So if you have the flu, Miss Vera, if you get the flu, you know that achy feeling you get, you feel so achy, you feel sick, that's your body fighting. My body doesn't do that. So they put interferons into our bodies to fight that. Well, it hurts. So it hurts if you have MS. The treatment hurts. It's like, what's the good place? What's the sweet spot, right? Faith. I just pray. And I talk to God and I listen to his promises and him telling me how much he loves me. And I'm telling you, nothing but faith. I wish I could tell you anything else that worked, anything else that makes me run and jump and everything else that I have. I came on with a walker in July, and I just was jet skiing last week with my son. Faith.
Oh my goodness!
I'm
telling you. Let's talk about. Well, first, let me see what what Shauna is saying here. Um, she said, wait a minute. First, she said, change is good, essential to living a better life with MS. Exercise, diet change, and less stress for me. And then she says, right, you have to pray. I'm telling you, and Donella, I know you are a woman of God. And I know that you walk by faith and not by sight.
Amen.
And I know that God has you all wrapped up in Him.
Amen. Amen.
And so this faith, people don't understand, and I know I talk about faith and God all the time, but that's where it's at.
It is.
I
And
mean,
you just need a mustard seed. You need the smallest amount of it, and it will grow and it will start working for you.
yes, believing what He said,
Right.
and trusting
That's
that
right.
word,
That's right.
and He said that with His stripes you are healed. He said, be healed,
Amen.
and so you having that faith, I'm sure, is the thing and the
It is.
impetus that's keeping you moving into doing all the things that you're doing. So I want to talk about these events that you got going on.
Oh Lord, I hope I don't pass out. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Please don't pass out on
I'm
my
joking.
show.
I'm joking. I'm joking. But
Okay.
they say you don't get MS until you get MS. I pray that nobody gets MS. But I'm having a golf outing. I started a foundation called the Donella Brooks-Gachett Multiple Sclerosis Foundation. And originally, before COVID, we would go to different schools and different places where we have these young girls, right? They're complaining about being in pain. And a lot of times, not to race divide, but a lot of times being a young Black woman, people think we're stronger than we are. Like, we're stronger when we say we're in pain or things hurt. We're not heard as much as we need to be. I was even in the Olympics watching what happened with Simone Biles.
Yes.
Taking time for herself. Like, she's jumping more and higher and doing flips that no one else can do. So she's graded at a higher standard. It's just not fair. So a lot of people who are complaining that they're in pain, they don't send them to a neurologist. They don't check to see how we're feeling. What is the reason? Pain is a symptom from something else.
Yes.
So oftentimes they send you to pain management doctors to treat the symptom, but why are you having that pain? What's that coming from? So we're having a golf event in Akron at a golf course called Good Park Golf Course. And we have so many sponsors. I'm so excited, all the people that are jumping behind this. We have the mayor and all these churches, and it's just, my mind is blown because I think little old me. I'm just little old me with this. God told me to, while I was in the hospital, they thought I needed a blood transfusion. And one of the ladies was talking to me about the analytics from blood. And I'm like, what do you mean? I've learned my whole life that there are certain type of blood types. You're O positive or B negative, all of that. And that's all you need to be. And she said, that's absolutely not true. She said, I don't care about race, but when it comes to blood, it matters. I'm like, what? She's like, right now we're having a blood. I know I switched over, but I'm having two other events. Right? So I'm having a golf outing for the MS Foundation, my MS Foundation. But I'm also having a faith-based blood drive called Oh the Blood. And it's moving, it's a tour. It's moving church to church to church. I thought just in Ohio, but I'm just amazed at what's happening. America's having a blood shortage. African America is having a severe blood shortage because, my opinion, we don't trust doctors and needles. And, I was talking to my friend today. I'm like, let's not forget this Tuskegee Airmen trials. If our forefathers forgot, we haven't. These kids now, my sons, I have an 18-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a daughter who's 36. And they are all about research and finding facts and things that we overlooked. And they're not trusting things to happen. So because of that, we have a shortage of the blood that we need. So she said, if you have a kid that has sickle cell, a young Black boy that has sickle cell, he needs different blood types on top of just his blood type, the analytics that are in it to help. But if we don't have Black people giving blood, then we don't have Black people getting the blood they need. So we're having that faith-based blood drive, the golf outing, the book release. I'm a little busy.
Oh, yes, you are. But you're doing God's work. And He's giving you the strength,
Amen,
the wisdom, and the ability to do his work. And so, with that, I just am so grateful that you have the strength to do all of these things. Now, you talked a little bit about, let's talk about this blood drive because that's a critical thing. And if there are members of churches listening now, you need to get in touch with Donella so that your church can be a part of this. Oh, the blood. I think
Oh, the
about
blood.
that. So, oh, the blood.
I was
Oh, the
sleeping. I woke
blood.
up out of my sleep, and the Lord said, "I want you to do this." And I was like, "How? Where?" The thing about the Lord, though, He goes before you. So by the time I called the American Red Cross, it's like they were waiting for me. It's crazy the way they just got behind this. She said, "You know what? This sounds too big for me. Let me send you to this other lady." So by the time I was done, she had me talking to this regional lady who's over 10 states.
Wow.
I'm like, wow. I know, right?
Yes.
Like when God tells you to do something, He's not asking you to come up, reinvent the wheel. He
makes a way.
He did. And he'd gone before me before I even, it's like I'm working in reverse. Like, oh, well, God was already here. Oh, Jesus already told you this. Oh, wait, you're already ready. So right now, the American Red Cross, every time I call them with a date that we have, they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have that date available." We're looking right now. We're booking into October, November, December.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's how great this thing is going.
So where can you name some of the states where you're going to be so that
we're going to be right now. We're just in Ohio and Indiana, and then we are scheduled for other states, Michigan, and under there, West Virginia. And we haven't been there yet, but we're scheduled to be there. And I'm just in awe of what God is doing. And Akron. So in Akron, I'm currently working with a couple churches just to make it a citywide event. Because I'm thinking, like, can we really get people to keep coming out, to keep giving blood when they don't want to? The lady told me at the American Red Cross that she has churches sign up. And she has gone there and there hasn't been one person that showed up. Not one. So I'm just so happy that at least the people who are signing up are actually coming. Yay.
Yay, so that's awesome.
It's not just me with MS. It's kids and children and everybody else that look like us that don't get what they need. So I don't think that we have this problem in other communities. We have a shortage of blood as humans.
Across the board, yes.
In America right now. But African Americans, there's a huge shortage of blood. And if we don't give blood, then we don't get the blood we need.
Well, let's talk about that difference with the blood, even though we know that there's type A, type B, type O. Those are the three types of blood, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Main ones. Like they always say there's 3 types of MS, but there's so many. There's like 48 now, they say, types of MS. We're not going to get into all of that because
that's a whole nother show.
It is. But then blood is the same way. So it's like, what do you need? Like specific for the analytics for your body. So for me, I have MS and I also have hyperthyroidism. I got that from taking chemotherapy. So because I have hyperthyroidism, I would need a different type of blood for the analytics to work properly in my body. Could I get the transfusion without that? Yes. But would it be as effective?
So how do we determine the type of blood and why is it so important? And I know you kind of touched on it, but why is it so important that African Americans become more proactive in giving blood? And also, I want to talk to you about how can other churches and other states rally with you for this? And are you, I'm asking too many questions.
Let me start. No. I'm thinking like, I told you I have cognitive memory loss. I'm like, wait, what was number 1? Okay, what was number 2? Okay, I think number 2 was how do you get in touch with me? I'm at DaniellaGachett.com. So if you could, it's my first and last name.com, or I have an easier one that's Daniella G, DONELLAG.com, because Gache is, difficult for some people. Daniella is already difficult. And it's working. It's not anything we're whipping up in the kitchen. Okay. We're working right with the American Red Cross. So what is the difference? How are they working? Like I don't know. I mean, she explained it to me, and she, even the woman that was helping me, she didn't even know. She's like, let me connect you to our. She's had me talk to a nurse and a specialist, a nurse practitioner who specializes in just that. But I know that she explained the analytics of it and how it breaks down. Like if you have sickle cell anemia, which is more prone to African Americans than other races, then you would need that blood that has been brought from the melanin of that. I want to touch on, I'm not going to talk about Henrietta Lakes because, yeah.
No,
But
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. The floor is
so,
yours.
well, they found that they say that melanin is more precious than gold. And I have a really good friend who lives in Africa. And I said to her, how is that possible? She's like, with organs and things like that, when you find that these kids are coming up missing, they find that African Americans are more effective in healing. I know this has nothing to do with MS, so I'm going to go back. But
She says, I'm listening.
I know. So I went to Henrietta Lakes. I mean, if you guys want to Google her, she had cancer, and the powers that be, how they took her DNA and they whipped up some cures and didn't tell her family about it. They kind of stole it.
Yes,
And
there was a movie about that.
Really? Okay. I didn't know there was a movie, but they stole it. How was she able to cure people that she didn't even know? So what's so great about this melanin? I don't know. But the people who need to know, they know. And how are they getting it? I'm going to leave that alone. We're going to talk about back to talking about MS. I don't know how they're getting it. I don't know what they're doing, but I know that when I needed a blood transfusion, the lady said to me, I have blood that I could give you that's your type for the surface. But up under here, the other legs for the other issues that you have, she was so nice. And it was just a blessing that she was in there talking to me like that, right? It was a blessing that she was there that day. She said she works once a month in that hospital. Once a month. And she was there that day to talk to me. So I didn't get the blood transfusion. I was able to be okay. She said she didn't think it would help me because it wasn't the proper blood that I needed. And then she started talking to me about why there's a shortage of what we need and who gives blood versus who doesn't. We know who gives blood freely, and we don't typically like to give needles and things like that. But I attribute that to the research that has been done on our people.
Yes.
That we haven't forgotten.
Yes. Arlena, she says, you are opening so many doors. I am so proud of you.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And
I'm trying.
Yes. Well, and you're doing it. You're not trying. You're doing it. And I know a lot of times we don't want to speak the truth that could kind of put us in a precarious situation.
Yeah.
I understand, but you know what? The truth is the light, and the truth will set us free. And what you're saying is we as Black people, what we have within us exceeds so much. And I personally believe, like you said, people know this. And so they're either taking advantage of it for the benefit of others and not the benefit of us.
Correct, because if I give you my blood, you're good. But if I get your blood, it's not going to work as well.
Not so much.
This is the golden one. Like you have some bronze on the shelf. You want to give me the bronze when you have the gold. I would rather wait for the gold. But in order for the gold to be there, we have to give it. And if we're not willing to give the gold per se, just calling our blood the gold. And the lady said to me too, she was not African American. And she said, I don't care about race. It doesn't matter except when you get to blood. And there's something about it. If you want to know, it's on the Red Cross website. They talk about the importance of it, and it breaks down regarding to race.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's also on my website. There's a link on there I'm going to add it to the blood. It's not on Donella G, but it's on Donella Gachett. I'm going to add it to Donella G as soon as we hang up to add that there so they can see that it's not just me saying these ridiculous things. I'm not making it up. It's not antics and whatever. But I will say regarding MS, when I was driving in my car and I couldn't feel the gas under my foot. And so I drove to the nearest hospital. It's a huge hospital. It's not some little hospital. They did not have a neurology department at all.
But yet they admitted you.
They tried to admit me. But you don't have a neurology department. They had doctors on call. They were going to call them like, you don't have a neurology. This is a huge problem. There's so many neurological disorders outside of just MS, Crohn's disease, and all kinds of diseases that affect us. I just had one of my really good friends lose her niece to Crohn's disease the year before last. She was fine. She had children, and she came to the hospital, and she didn't make it out of it. I'm not saying anything happened to her from that. They did all they could to help her, but she did not. She lost her life. So from the sideline, people are always saying, what can I do? How can I help? Go give blood. Go give blood.
Say it again.
I need you to help them. Like,
yes.
You want to help me? Okay, golf at my golf outing, and we'll give money for a foundation. Actually, we're having a dual charity with that. So my son, he's 19. He lost his very best friend in an auto accident right after graduation. They graduated in June. He got into a car accident in November. It was icy, and he flipped over a bridge, and he didn't make it. He was a track athlete, and he had a scholarship for his friends. It wasn't even a scholarship yet. Eddie was just his name is Eddie, and he was just a great kid. He just wanted to give money to his friends who didn't have the money that they needed. So his mom just kind of picked it up, and she started a scholarship foundation. And if you go to Eddie.com, there you can donate, or you can golf. You can find out all about his life, my walk with MS, and his scholarship fund. And it's just going to help kids go to college on a track athletic scholarship. And you have to have a certain GPA. And it's just amazing the things that have happened in my life that God has orchestrated out of grief and loss, and just to help other people. Sometimes it's not about us. I try to think beyond me being sick and me having MS. When I think about my uncle, Tony, he has multiple sclerosis, and I absolutely love him. He has less lesions on his brain than I do.
Oh, so, my goodness.
If you read about multiple sclerosis, right? Today I wanted to share this really quick. There's 4 types of MS, but there's one that they call now the CIS. Is a clinical isolated syndrome. And with that, they say, however many lesions that you get, that's more progression, right? It's not true. I'm sorry. I have 52, at least 52. Some of them are so close together, we stopped counting on my brain. And he has less. He cannot walk, and I can't. He loves Jesus as much as I do. He served Jesus as much as I do. It's not true with the more lesions you have, the more, it's just not true. There's so much about this disease that they don't know. But I will say that when I started Limtrada, I have 2 friends that also started Limtrada that have MS, that they didn't have the results that I had. Like even the person earlier said she's on Tecfidera. That's amazing. I didn't get a chance to be one of the recipients of it because I had an allergic reaction. But yeah, it's like there's so much they don't know about multiple sclerosis. And at some point, we have to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
Vitamin D.
Yes.
I take Dr. CB vitamins. I know it's not FDA approved, but I tell you what, before I was on chemotherapy, they helped me.
Wow.
And amazing. So, some things you can't eat. There's some things you can't do if you want to be well.
Yes, and people need to understand we are what we eat. Now there is an event coming up, and it's an opportunity for us to honor youth that have overcome all the stuff that's happening with COVID and how they've been overcomers for the year. And I happen to have the organizer of that, she's here, and I want her to briefly share. I'm going to keep you up here as well. And so, hi, Amber. As you can hear, we're talking about MS. We're talking about the need for us as African Americans to give blood because there's something special and unique in our blood that's different. Even though all the blood types are the same, it's different, and it's specifically valuable for any of us that need blood. But I know you're here to talk about this award that's going to be coming up and to share with our audience um, what you have, how they can nominate a youth. And they don't have to be in our area. So, Donella, even like your son and what you're doing, you might want to hear this to nominate him as well. So, Amber, I'm going to give you a few minutes to kind of share this.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you, Vera, for having me to the Vera Thomas Show. I am the founder and the CEO of From Pain to Purpose Incorporated, and we have an upcoming event called Healing Pain Through the Arts Youth Spotlight Awards. We have previously honored young people in our community who have overcome life challenges and adversities in life, and are using their gifts and talents to inspire others. However, the awards got postponed in 2020 because of COVID, and we're doing it Saturday, September the 25th at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have red carpet full of interviews and media from 6 to 7. 7 to 9 will be the award ceremony, and 9 to 11 will be an after party. It's going to be held at the beautiful heartline of Atlanta Event Center in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite. The link is, you can find it on Eventbrite. We have an Eventbrite link, but you can find it by just typing in Healing Pain Through the Arts. As soon as you start typing it in, it'll pop right up. Youth Spotlight Awards. We are looking to honor this year, God gave me to honor our youth who have remained resilient during the COVID-19 pandemic. And that's going to look different to each and every youth. It is hosted by the phenomenal Youth Speak Out podcast team. They're going to be hosting. They're going to be doing one of them is a media and journalism graduate from Georgia State University. She will be on the red carpet along with the I Am Enough talk show host, Wanda D. Hollis. She will be on the red carpet. We have a youth advocate and game changer by the name of Q Harper. He's the CEO of Peacocks, which is Project Keep Them Off the Streets. He's going to be inspiring our youth in regards to youth advocacy and being a game changer. We have performing artists from Christian Life Center, the Youth Praise Team that'll be performing live. Listen, vendors are going to be there. The media is going to be there. People are going to be there. And guess who needs to be there? You need to be there. Yeah, you out there in Facebook land, YouTube land, wherever we at, you need to be there. Why? Because we are turning up. We're showing up and showing out for our youth. They are outstanding, unique, and they are refined. And it takes a village to support them. Lakeisha James is our event planner. Our stage manager, Sean Jackson. That's our executive team. We just got so much going on. We want to share, but you know what? We'll come back and share little by little. We're working feverishly with our whole team to be able to bring a phenomenal event. We have been locked down and social distance, and we still kind of are in certain ways, but we want to let the young people know that we love them, we support them, and they matter. So we're going to semi-formal affair. We're going to turn up, show up, and have a blast with our youth. Yes.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to have you come back next week to kind of share as well in the middle of my show. And because this is so important. We need to support our youth.
Yes.
And I actually have the flyer on the background, but I'll have to
I
remove
see.
all three of us
It's
in
okay.
order
I
to make
see.
that happen. So let me remove all three of us just for a minute so the audience can see that. Don't leave, Donella. Don't leave, Amber. I'm
Okay.
just going to remove you from
The screen.
the screen. So
Okay.
let me do that.
Thank you so much, Vera. You know, the youth are my passion. I mean, in addition to domestic violence and teen dating violence,
Yes.
the youth are my passion.
Yes.
And I thank God for the opportunity to work with them, but to also shine the spotlight
Now
on them.
okay, I want to ask you a question. For youth that are out of the state, um, will you honor them through Zoom at this event, or how does that work?
Okay, well, we actually have a young lady that's one of our honorees from Florida. She's actually going to be coming because it is an in-person event. But we
Okay.
are setting up, we're going to be confirming that, but we are working on making it a global event where we can actually honor, you know, because I serve as the World Women's Conference and Awards Global leader, Youth Young Leaders Club leader. So I work with young people all over the world. So we're working on making it a global event where people who are not in Atlanta can actually tune in globally as well and
Okay.
be honored and actual support and watch the event.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
coming, and I
You're
will talk to
welcome.
you soon. Okay.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right. All right.
Blessings.
All
God
right.
bless
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. That was something. I'm a part of the organization, and I really want to support what they're doing. But
Amen.
we are about to wrap up here, and so Donella, I want you to emphasize the importance of our diets, the importance of trying to maintain a balance in stress, whether it's good stress or bad stress,
Right.
and the importance of us as a people giving blood for us, because our blood is unique and different, even though all of us, we all bleed red, but our blood has a little gold in it. so So I'd like for you to just
Amen.
share that before we wrap up.
More importantly than all of that, Ms. Vera, I just have to say that giving blood is super important, and eating right is super important. But knowing where you are going after this life is the most important part of it all.
Yes, it is.
Jesus has got to be the main focus. He will speak with us. Really quickly, my friend started an event where she's like, let's write love letters to God. You write a letter, you choose a random scripture, and then allow the Holy Spirit to use your hand to write back to you. It's amazing the way the Holy Spirit will answer you. So in that time, more than diet and exercise and all of that, which is so important. If you don't have good diet and exercise in your life, even if you don't have MS, you are not going to be well. You are not going to feel your best. You have to eat right. You have to exercise. You have to work on a diet. You have to eat. I say eat my medicine. So giving blood and all of that is so important. But outside of all of that, faith in God, in Jesus Christ. If I live to be 100 years old, that's not very long for eternity. So know where you're going. Be baptized. Choose God, and He will speak to you. He'll guide you. He'll tell
Yes.
you what to do. So many people told me
Yes.
the things that they need to do for MS. Tecfidera was supposed to save my life. And I prayed that it did, but it didn't work for me. But the Holy Spirit led me to what I needed to do. My doctor didn't recommend that. The Holy Spirit did. So I would just say, first and foremost, trust God and have the faith of a mustard
Amen.
seed. And that will get you where you
Amen.
need to go.
Amen. And I just want to acknowledge a couple people that have chimed in. Hi, Lenora, and I hope you're feeling better. Hi, Felicia, and I hope you're feeling better. And Shanna, thank you for all your feedback. And we're praying that you will be better as well. And Donella, I just love you and I thank you for being here. And yes, the power of the Holy Spirit. Jesus is the answer. And you know, there's a song out there, Jesus is the answer for the world today. And he is, and he's the answer for our healing. He's the answer for our society. We need to show love. And I want to end with just be love, show love, give love. And Donella, I love you and I thank you for being here.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
Someone wrote on there that she had 17 lesions.
Yes.
I wanted to address that.
Okay.
So I don't want you to feel despair about that. When they discovered I had MS, I had exactly 17 lesions and I have 52. Your life is not over. There's so much to be done, and don't give up and just to keep fighting, because there's so much about it they don't know. So I was getting lesion after lesion after lesion, and I was so discouraged. I don't care if you have 22 by next week. If you trust God and you believe him and you follow what he tells you to do, that's all you need.
Yes. That was Shanna that said that.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so scary when you see that more and more lesions. It freaks you out. But like I said, I have more lesions than my uncle has, and it's just like Russian roulette where they land. So just stay prayed up and trust God. I'm sorry. I know I did.
Amen. Hey, you did what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to encourage her and let her know, you know.
There's so much life after that. I don't care if you had 25, because once upon a time I did. You're going to be okay. If you believe God, you trust him, and he gives you that promise, run.
Run. Run to the rock.
Keep running.
Yes.
Keep running.
Yes. God bless you. And thank you so much. And I do hope that those that listen really got some, well, I know they got some things out of that. And Amber says, thanks for having me as a pop and guest tonight. You're welcome. You're welcome. And Shannon says she appreciates what you said. So we are beyond time.
I know.
But I just,
we started 5 minutes late.
Yeah, we did. We
had a couple of difficulties in the beginning.
Yes. Well, listen, thank you, everybody, for being here. And Donella, I'm going to have you come back to talk about your fundraisers, your foundation, and how we can be of benefit to you.
Go to msandeddie.com.
MS
and Eddie, EDDIE.
Okay, msandeddie.com.
Amen. It's a dual scholarship. One for me, one for him. We
split it.
Yeah.
Okay.
50% of the proceeds go to MS. The other 50% go to his scholarship. So.
Okay. I wish I had that streaming. I didn't have that information at the time, but we'll continue to support that. Amen. Thank you again. God bless you. Don't leave. I'm going to end, but don't leave. Okay. I'm going to put you off, but don't leave yet. Okay. Yes, all right. Thank you. Well, listening audience, I hope that you really got some positive stuff out of this. Thank you for listening, and we will see you again next week.
The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera.
All right. Bye-bye.